They want to infiltrate the government, pass laws against religion and morality.
That's totally false. I've been a humanist for 50 years and a member of the American Humanist Association for almost as long. And I never heard, read, or known of any humanist wanting to control the government or pass laws against religion or morality. Just the opposite is true. Humanists are staunchly committed to an open and democratic society, inclusive of the rights of all people to worship or not to worship, as they please. As for morality, humanism adheres to the highest ethical ideas and teaches that whether or not an action is good or bad is to be judged by its consequences, both to the individual and society. Naturalistic humanism rejects all belief in the supernatural, including God and immortality, and holds as its supreme commitment the welfare and happiness of all humanity, according to the methods of reason, science, and democracy. We humanists desire only to improve the human condition and to protect our civil liberties and democratic freedoms, not usurp them. And we're equally against the government imposing any laws to control religion or personal morality. That's just not the government's job, as outlined in the Constitution.
They want to teach our children to make their own decisions without the guidance of the church or the family.
Not only do I have children, but grandchildren as well. Oh, I'm a firm believer in the family, as are almost all humanists. But we believe it's in the best interest of the family and of society in general that the parents' attitudes and opinions not be forced on their children, that the children be encouraged to learn and think for themselves.
Come on, Amanda, let's go look at the duck.
Humanists have a great desire to preserve a young person's right to question and to free, unthreatened inquiry into all religious, ethical, political, and philosophical matters. We believe it's against entire societies, as well as a child's best interest, to be intimidated into becoming a rubber stamp version of his parents or church.
Well, so much for answers to attacks and accusations. Now let's see how humanists answer those earlier and straightforward questions about humanists and humanism.
What is humanism?
That's such a basic and important question, and because it may have almost as many answers as there are humanists, we thought hearing from more than one humanist would provide a more comprehensive answer.
Humanists believe in the value and dignity of every human being.
Humanists believe the best way to live in this complex world is with truthfulness, compassion, love, and respect of other people's rights and feelings.
Humanism recognizes that we ourselves establish the moral and ethical principles which guide our everyday life, and that we alone are responsible for our own moral and ethical behavior.
Humanists believe that democracy is the best means of running our society.
To humanists, science is the best way to explain and understand the physical world we all share.
Humanism says that human beings are part of the many life forms on this planet, not independent of them, and that we share a responsibility for all living things and the environment in which they all must live. Humanists also believe that we shape our own destinies, whatever gods there may or may not be. We don't expect a supernatural being to solve our problems or the world's.
The simplest definition I can think of is that humanism is freedom of inquiry. Humanists feel free to explore anything, to ask questions, to agree or disagree as their reason convinces them. And by the same token, humanists support the rights of others to have that same freedom of inquiry, the same right to agree or disagree, the same freedom of thought that makes freedom of religion possible.
The dictionary definition is humanism, a system or attitude, a thought, religion, or philosophy in which human ideals and the perfection of the human personality are made central, so that the cultural and practical interests are the focus of attention. rather than theology in metaphysics.
I still like Dr. Albert Schweitzer's definition.
Humanism, in all its simplicity, is the only genuine spirituality. Only ethics and religion, which include within themselves the humanitarian ideal, have true value. Humanism is a precious result of rational meditation upon our existence and that of the world.
To which she'd like to add,
humanism is a joyful, positive philosophy. It gives special attention to the wonders and the beauties of nature and to the creative development in the arts. It's all based on warmth, caring, and human responsibility.
When did it start?
Humanism had its roots in ancient China, in classical Greece and Rome, in Christianity, Buddhism, Judaism, Islam, and in other religious groups in other periods. It grew out of a concept of humane feelings as opposed to violence and brutality, out of the appreciation of the beauty of art and music, and of the need to protect the weak, out of looking for answers to life and death through philosophy and logic, rather than through the supernatural and the metaphysical, a pursuit which produced a list of great men, some of them deified and some of them killed for these same stated concepts and their denial of supernatural cause and effect. In this century, organized humanism in the United States came out of the Unitarian and Universalist churches, the Free Religious Association, and the American Ethical Union. It came to public awareness with the formation of the Humanist Press Association, which published the New Humanist and the First Humanist Manifesto in 1933, one of whose signers was the great American educator and philosopher John Dewey. I'm proud also to have been one of its signers. In 1941, the Humanist Press Association became the American Humanist Association, and the title of its publication was changed to The Humanist, the name under which it still appears today. There are humanist organizations in 24 countries throughout the world. Together they form the International Humanist and Ethical Union, which holds conferences internationally every 4 years and publishes its own quarterly. It is accredited and recognized in the United States, in the United Nations, and UNESCO.
It's time to answer the first in a group of questions whose interrelationship is, as we shall see, as important as each individual answer.
What's secular humanism?
It's from the word secular, meaning worldly or not sacred. Secular humanism is the practice of ethics without the involvement of God or supernaturalism, and calls for the highest standards of ethical and moral behavior with reliance on science and reason, democracy, and love. It includes the principles of ethical philosophy and the love ethic of the Golden Rule. Secular humanists see no need for ritual or mystical dogma to achieve the highest levels of human accomplishment, caring, and fulfillment for this rather brief lifetime we share with our neighbors.
And the answer to this earlier question should be interesting to members of all religious denominations.
What's religious humanism?
While we religious humanists don't believe in a deity or the supernatural, we do believe that religion can be of definite value in human affairs when ethical and moral values are the primary concern of that religion. Religious humanism represents the positive attitude humanists feel towards basic religion and says that all things of concern to human well-being are included within the broad meaning of the term religion.
What is Christian humanism?
The answer to what it is should come as more of a challenge than a surprise to the religious fundamentalists.
Christian humanism, which to be accurate, should be called humanistic Christianity, believes that the primary function of religion should be to make people good in their hearts and actions, even as Jesus taught us.
We humanistic Christians are found in traditional churches, which place a very big emphasis on improving the lot of humanity, of feeding the hungry, of housing the homeless, of doing good deeds, and striving for social justice as our version of Christian responsibility.
Unlike we humanistic Christians, there are many Christian fundamentalists who do not believe that salvation can ever be won through good deeds, but only through faith in Jesus. To me, and others like me, salvation then becomes a bigoted and self-serving pursuit.
We humanistic Christians, while not renouncing God or Jesus or immortality, simply affirm that good works in this life are the best preparation, far and beyond church dogma, for what may or may not follow.